Ah yes, Stanley Kubrick. Who can forget this famous movie director? Known for his work in Paths of Glory, Doctor Strangelove, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and several others. So what can I say? He's one of the all-time greats, and he directed 10 other feature-length films. So I'm going to start from the beginning, Fear and Desire, made in 1953. Now I did some research on this, and here's what the director himself said about this flick. So what did the famous director try to do with this? Since that failed, I get to review this $33,000 budget movie. Now, I don't expect it to be a masterpiece or anything, but let's take a look anyways. We begin the movie with 4 soldiers, who I assume are American, that are stuck behind enemy lines, and they spot one of their planes.
Here. 6 miles behind the enemy lines.
Well, that's not too far.
Not too far. In those 6 miles, there are probably thousands of guys. And every one of them was taught to shoot at uniforms like this.
If you're so worried about that, why don't you keep your voice down?
I'm not worried.
Well, it isn't teenagers from outer space bad, but I can see where this is heading. The first problem is the dialogue. It's kind of silly.
What's going to happen, Lieutenant? If somebody around us saw a plane go down, they might be looking for us in the woods already.
I'd feel a lot easier if our arsenal was better stocked.
The second issue is the poor editing. There are numerous scenes where it is too fast, awkward, or even has unnecessary shots in it that does not establish anything important. I'll get to this later. The actor portraying Lieutenant Corby is a third problem. Just take a listen.
Too bad you fellas didn't get your rifles out of the plane. Let's see what can be done.
I'm not even kidding. This guy doesn't care about his performance.
Once you understand how a mousetrap works...
Stop! The soldiers head out on foot from their spot, and then this happens.
It's hard. One foot fights the other.
Faster. The sun is fast.
Hills ahead.
Get there before it burns in the bushes.
I could do it alone.
Corner to turn and...
Me with this bunch of cripples. Nobody's safe here.
I'll be right back.
Blame who? I'll blame the big... beat it on a string.
Lost, I should look around.
Getting hungry.
What's up?
They're all scared.
How much is in back of us?
So angry at each other.
Time for night soon.
Old Spice.
Pause for the night.
Crack through myself.
It was wounded.
I don't run for no
Nail of
reason.
the sun. Wait.
What's going to hang from the trees tonight?
Bingo.
I'm dying in the woods.
No rabbits there, no. Maybe I'm getting old.
Faster. Turn on the lights, please.
I'm sinking in the woods.
Don't die here.
Scared.
Dark will be
All
sad.
right. Turn them on, please.
It's hard. One foot fights the other.
Faster. The sun is fast.
Hills ahead.
Get there before it burns in the bushes.
I could do it alone.
Corner to turn and...
The soldiers arrive at the river where they build a raft. And later on, Sergeant Mack and Lieutenant Corby find an airstrip across the way where they spot an enemy general.
Looks like some kind of... Sure. Sure. A general. He's a general.
Should we make sure it floats?
Rafts always float. It's unfortunate that we don't have a distinguished bottle to christen it with.
Yeah, we could give it a name.
Whoa!
They must have seen us.
The infantry go into the woods without secreting their raft, where they come across an enemy cabin in the woods. Remember what I said earlier about the editing?
No matter what we do from...
Well, I'll just show you. Well, what do you think of the scene, audience? So do I. They swiftly leave the cabin because they gave away their position when they shot an enemy. Now they are out in the woods alone again, so they head out. They come across a woman and they tie her up to a tree.
Give me your belt. We ought to continue to see about the raft. But we can't let her go yet.
Why? What'd she do to us? She can understand. She would have told you.
Mac already told you why. Sidney, you'll stay here with the young lady until we come back. Here, take this.
You're going to leave me here?
Yes. I told you to watch the girl.
This should go over well.
I knew you'd like me. Just a minute. Don't run away. Don't make me stay. Don't tell the general. I won't hurt you. Cold. I'm going for a swim. Come on in, Mac. Listen to them. It's blood.
Let's move on. Again, the remaining forces are stuck in the forest, and we do start knowing more about the characters, so I'll give this scene a pass. Now they finally use the raft a few hours later, but they first have to secure the airfield and escape in a plane. To accomplish this, they send Sergeant Mack downstream on this thing while the lieutenant and private target the enemy general and his captain. By the way, yes, the lieutenant and private do play two parts in this movie. Now this movie isn't good so far, but it isn't horrible, except Lieutenant Corby's acting, of course. But this next scene is very tedious. Nuh-uh. You're seeing through this with me. Let's get this over with. What happens?
It's better to roll up your life into one night and one man and one gun.
Then what?
And that when you open your jaws to disturb the moon, why, they leap into your mouth and possess you.
Yeah, what's next?
Nobody else is me. I know that.
Now what?
Waiting to kill. Waiting to heal. You were so
Next!
Oh, they'll get him soon. A duck in a shooting gallery. And I'll be the wheel under all the ducks and all the bull's eyes.
This is boring.
Come on out of your tent, you
No!
half-witted cannibals!
Well, it's about time. Wow, that scared me. Whew. So, the enemy general and captain are both dead while the allies escape on the plane. Meanwhile, Sergeant Mack is severely injured on his raft where he goes downstream. He actually comes across Private Sidney who killed the girl. I'm not kidding either. They are later found by the lieutenant and Private Corby, but the sergeant is now dead. That's the ending. While I don't recommend this movie on any level, it's kind of fascinating to watch. Of course, the 8 minutes of nothing happening nearly ruined the experience for me, seriously. But I would categorize this as a student film project, so I'm cutting it a lot of slack, believe me. So if you're a big Stanley Kubrick fan out there, it's on the internet now. So I want to get to my next review. My next review will be on
I admit that our prospects aren't very cheerful.